Hey folks, welcome back to the Hoard. Let's see where we are, other than having the sun blind me, which is nice because it's good to have the sun out. So, about 1:30, 29 degrees, the 4th. It's Monday. Welcome back. So, what are we up to today? Well, first of all, my batteries are nice and charged. Gotta love the sun. Gotta love solar panels. For those of you who maybe haven't watched all the videos, I have a let me close this down. I have a set of solar panels up in this window up here. I don't know how well you guys could see them, and they keep that deep charge battery charged up. Battery really doesn't work all that hard, so it doesn't discharge. Basically, it's sitting there hanging out in a charged state whenever I have to jump something. Anyway, what am I up to today? Trying to get that that starter fab together for the quad, the TRX 200. So when I have to do that and I need parts, I have a tendency to take a quick cruise through my own little junkyard here, and as one could see, I do have quite a junkyard. Right here we have a pile of Honda frames. There's a 200X. That's a TRX 200SX. As a matter of fact, there's a tag on it. I don't know if you guys could see it, make it out. There it is. And another 200X minus the front forks. So, but that's not what I needed. I needed a Kickstarter, and obviously there are no engines there. So it's kind of a little junkyard here in the back. This, for the people who own this house before I did, was built in '65, and I guess through the '70s they burned coal, and that's how they kept themselves warm. As a matter of fact, when I bought the house, the heating system, the hydraulic heating system, was non-functional, and they were using the pellet stove, and I had to fix the heating system. Anyway, this was the part donor to the parts I'm going to show you. You'll see the starters cut off there, or the shifters cut off there, and I also cut a piece of frame. You can see how it's missing here by the oil tank there. Yeah, I cut those off, and I have them in my pocket, and I'll show you what I'm up to. So my theory is this is going to work as I fall on my butt here. Excuse the shakiness. I'm a little bit off-road. Anyway, let me show you what I'm up to, now that you know where the parts came from and you know what the time and date is. It's chilly here in the Hudson Valley. When it's a little less than 30 degrees and the wind's blowing, not exactly enjoyable. I don't like this weather much. I was going to weld the shifter together and then mount it to the bike, but looking at the bike, I don't think I'm going to be able to weld the extension onto the shifter shaft once I put the foot pedal on. So I think I'm going to have to weld the extension on and then do the rest of it. So this is what I have. This is what I have so far. I have the original shifter shaft that I cleaned up. I cut that piece of pipe off the end of it. It's over here. I cut his Rube Goldberg mess off of this, and don't need that. That's the extension I plan on using, and there's the other shifter. I plan on tapping this onto the current shaft, and it's a little smaller, so when I tap it on, it'll have the friction of being a little smaller and, you know, springing and clinging onto the shaft that way. Then I'm going to run a weld right where that crack is, and I figure by doing that I'll have the surface area of the weld, and by joining the two pieces together, and once again, I'm hoping that that's good enough. It'll also be almost a 1-inch weld, and if you look at the surface area of the splines on one of these shifters, it's probably about 1 inch around, so I'm hoping that's good enough. Anyway, here's the shifter that came off that Yamaha in my scrap pile. I cut it back. Obviously that's going to go on like that, and once again I'm going to weld the crack, and then I'm going to weld there, and then this guy is going to get attached up, and it's got to kind of get over the foot pedal, so to speak, so that as you step down on it, it'll shift without hitting the foot pedal. So anyway, I got to weld that up and get that going. So I don't know if I'm going to do it today because it's cold. Once again, I'm a little worried about welding up to the that critter, to the shifter shaft, particularly when it's this cold. Wally, just quickly, as you're looking at that quad you're thinking about buying, I normally, this thing is obviously a shaft drive, and you're looking at a 4x4, so those are shaft drives, but you can tell a lot by just grabbing onto the back, giving it a shake. For used stuff, I normally, like, obviously this is a shaft drive, but I'm not in love with shaft drive stuffs because they're expensive, and you really got to watch what you pay for them. When I paid $200 for that thing, in my mind was the back tires were worth over $100. The 200 motor on there with the recoil starter, you know, that was probably worth another $100 to me. So from a parts point of view, I figured I wasn't out that far, especially considering it's got a nice Cobra exhaust on it. So I figured between the motor pieces and the back tires, I had my $200 if the whole thing was a rat. One could put components on eBay. I normally don't sell anything because I'm a hoarder, obviously. But if one wanted to, a good seat, I mean, you could get $50 to $100 for, depending on the rarity and how desperate people are. It could even go a little higher. Once again, it's kind of hard to sell components if you're not going to test them. That is, if you care about your eBay rating. And, you know, if you use PayPal and all, and the people, they can hang up your account if they don't like what they've bought from you until you come to some kind of resolution. So you really got to be careful about selling untested stuff on there. I mean, seats, fenders, you know, plastic stuff like that, you don't have to worry about too much, but untested other stuff you got to be careful with, because it can come back to bite you. And if somebody complains, I'm told, I don't know this as a fact, I don't own the information, to quote a good buddy of mine, but I'm told if they complain, that your account could end up getting locked up. And if you do it, you know, I don't do it, I don't sell it on it, but if one's doing that for a living and your account's locked up with a few $1,000s in there, it can become troublesome. Anyway, folks, we're on our way to 10 minutes, so I gotta end this. Y'all take care. Remember, keep the handlebars out, the buckwheat out of the snow, off the pavement. Live, love, have a great time. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Hoard.